8 o'clock on the East Coast on a Tuesday night. May 13th, 8 p.m. Real America's Voice. Glad you're in, everybody. Slick Rick's here. He's going to do some sports. Rick Delgado's going to do some news. Vinnie Mac in the house. Going to do some news as well. Aaron and Fran holding it down as always on a Tuesday night. Glad you're in. Hope you had a great day. Lots to talk about tonight. Slickster, how are you?
I'm doing good, Big D.
Well, big day for you, huh?
Big day for Mr. Pete Rose, huh?
Big day for you and your team.
Yes, that was historical to hear.
How did you find out? You saw it yourself?
No,
Someone
my
told you?
CPA, he got hit me up like within, I don't think the news must have just broke. He's a major baseball card collector, and he wanted to tell me because obviously him and I, we had a pact. We're going to go to Cooperstown. I said I would never go to Cooperstown until Rose got in. Now, he's still got a way to go because he's still got to get voted in. He's got to pass that classic committee, and the vote won't be until December of 2027. So a little bit of a wait here, but we'll see how it goes. We'll get Pete in there.
But reinstated.
He's able
Step
to
one.
have status.
A little too late, man. Pete should have been reinstated while he was alive. They allowed gambling in the sport.
Yep.
While he was alive.
I mean,
come on.
It's so crazy to look at sports now and gambling.
It is.
And you got the FanDuel this and the FanDuel that, and then the DraftKings this and the DraftKings that. And here's the situation with Pete Rose. I mean, it's just people can now bet the game from their seats in some places
During the game.
I know.
From your seats.
The game.
You're right.
Yeah.
And Pete Rose is still.
Lifetime ban is a lifetime ban. And, I think the president had a hand in this because he met with Manfred, back in February. And he had a post on February 28th saying, put Pete Rose back into baseball, reinstate Pete Rose. And I have a funny feeling, he probably won't want to take credit for it. He likes to take credit for a lot of things, but he won't probably for that because he doesn't want to mess up the vote. But I think Pete Rose gets in. But, boy, my wife said, you think President Trump had anything to do with it? I says, you bet your bippy. He sure did.
Oh, he had a huge
deal with it.
I heard them talking about it today on what do you call it, on ESPN, because they made a note that, you know what, the president met with Major League Baseball, and all of a sudden now this thing is moving.
Yep.
Where do you think that influence came from?
How are you?
Your favorite president.
Yeah, your favorite president. Him. Who, me?
Yeah, you.
I'm good.
Okay, good.
Why?
How was your day? Well, I mean, just because that's the nicety that we start at the show with every night.
That's a very nice thing.
Thank you, Rick. How are you, Delgado? You had a nice day today?
I am good. I had a decent day. I was hoping to get the What Even Is That finished writing and everything done for Aaron and Fran, but alas, I could not.
Well, why? What are you doing?
It's a slightly bigger project than I realized. There's a lot of moving parts.
Yeah, there sure are.
Moving parts.
Upstairs, there's a lot of moving parts.
There are a lot
like
of
a junkyard.
Well, I'm trying. Shut up, stupid. I'm trying to make
two
this
moving
thing,
parts right now.
I'm trying to make this thing memorable because I think it has a lot of potential to be pretty entertaining.
Yeah, Aaron says they always are memorable.
And this does not involve anyone falling from a 6-story building.
Last one was memorable too.
It was. You know what, Damon? Say what you want. I got a lot of good feedback on that one.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, outside your family, you didn't get any.
No, they didn't. They didn't like it at all.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right. Well, do you want to give? Well, no, I'm not going to ask. Vinnie Mac, how are you?
I'm going to shoot for Monday.
Thank you.
Monday. Well, today it's only Tuesday.
I know.
Oh, okay.
But we have the live show Friday, and I know all the prep that goes into the live show Wednesday, Thursday, and I know Fran gets swamped on Thursdays.
But me and
Friday.
Slick Rick have to do all the prep. What do you do?
What prep?
Okay, fine.
We better
So
move
Monday.
on.
Monday is what I'm shooting for.
Okay,
Yes.
fine.
Yeah, how about a crazy town more often? We need more crazy towns. That we do need.
Oh wow.
I've had
well,
people asking me for crazy
That's
towns.
a shot across the bow.
Yeah, even my
yeah,
wife said,
really?
we need more crazy towns. She goes, that.
All right, so you're in Delgado's camp tonight, I see.
Well,
okay.
just crazy town, nothing else. He's crazy as it is.
So, at your own risk.
Vinnie Mac, how was your day?
My day was real good.
You know, the last time you wore that shirt, somebody emailed me to ask where you got it from. They liked it so much.
I remember that. That's
Tommy
the second
Bahama,
time.
right?
Tommy Bahama.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'm glad that you remembered that.
Yes,
I wasn't sure.
That was actually
Because I legitimately call you and say, hey, somebody wants to know where you got your shirt.
That was
I
the
did.
only.
Was that when you did the show years ago or recently?
No, recently.
That was actually me. I sent that email under a different email address because I wanted to make sure I never shopped at that store.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that coming from you.
TJ Maxx.
Bull Brummel over here.
No, when you called, I was waiting for you to ask me another question because I'm thinking he didn't call me just to ask me about the shirt, but he did.
Yeah.
He called me to ask me about the shirt and asked me who does your hair and, various things like that. I was like, what's going on with Damon? All of a sudden, he's softening up, Yeah, he had Manilow on in the background. Looks like we made it.
Weekend in New England.
Yeah, Manilow was going.
He spent a few of those.
He called me Mandy like 3 times. I don't know what happened. But I had a busy day because my movie comes out, premieres Friday night. We're in theaters all across. A couple of theaters here in Long Island. If you're in Stony Brook, Farmingdale, and there's another town that has it. But it's
Way to promote.
It's around the country. Yeah, I don't know.
You don't have a radio
the theater
show,
breakout yet. It's on the website. So the movie's coming out. We'd all been talking about that, so I'm pretty excited.
And this is the Ruin or the Ruse or something?
The Ruse. The Ruse.
Yeah.
It's been reviewed. It got a really good review as well.
From who?
Yeah,
Siskel and Ebert?
Yeah. They're
dead, right?
Yeah, I was going to
Bert
say,
and
aren't they
Ernie.
dead?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm sorry to cut you off, man.
Yeah.
But if it's not Siskel and Ebert, let me just ask you, who's like the movie review staple now that people point to and go, okay, well, if they said it's good, then it's good. Like, who is that? Who would that be?
Yeah, I don't really know. It wasn't Penn and Teller, but I'm not even sure. But I'm happy to share the review with you. So if it's not Siskel and Ebert, it's not Penn and Teller.
Is it Rotten Tomatoes? Do you have a Rotten Tomatoes score?
We haven't got the Rotten Tomato score yet.
Oh, thank
That's
God.
probably coming soon.
And how does that work? The more Rotten Tomatoes, the more rotten it is? So you want a lower score or you want a higher score?
I don't
want
know.
a higher score.
You want a higher score?
Yeah,
More
you
Rotten Tomatoes?
You want a good score.
Okay.
I want a good score.
But it got a good review, and, we'll see. We're hoping for the best.
All right, since Vin did such a great job promoting his movie, what's the name of the movie, Vin?
I was just going to ask
Ruins,
that.
right?
I thought maybe we weren't going to tell anybody.
But you said The Ruin or The Ruins.
It's called The Ruse, and it's a murder mystery movie.
The Ruse.
Which got a little edge to it, and you'll never figure it out until
Didn't you
the
ask
end.
me to play the trailer once somewhere? And we
I
never did.
I did.
Where is it?
I'll pull it out here. I got it. I've wanted to play it a bunch of times, but I didn't want to really interrupt the show. Yeah.
So we have it, Aaron? Do we get an we didn't
gone.
get an
Sounds like a
exclusive?
rouge.
We couldn't even get like an exclusive. Is there like a red carpet for this deal? Anyone been invited? I haven't been.
I haven't been invited either. I'm waiting to hear where the premiere event is going to be. It's probably going to be Saturday night, but I don't know where. So.
Are you really involved with the movie, Vin?
Vin.
I will tell you, I am the executive producer, and also I'm in the cast. I have my role. You will hear me throughout the movie, and then you see me in a couple of scenes at the end.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
like
my reveal reveals the end.
Are you
So
the coughing old
Can we
man?
go? Can we go to get? Can we go see it?
Absolutely. You just let me
Bring
know
a
when you want to
camera?
go. Go on Fandango, and you'll find the movie, The Ruse.
Can you
All
get
right.
us some free tickets?
Yeah, if that's what you want. You want free tickets? I'll get you free tickets.
All right, very good.
Box of Milk Duds.
And popcorn.
Some popcorn.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
So
what
maybe
we
we'll
got.
do that. Maybe a group trip this weekend to see the Ruse.
The Ruse.
Somewhere on Long Island.
Stony Brook.
Oh, Stony Brook.
Stony Brook. That's close to you.
It's right around the corner.
That is. I know
Okay, so maybe we'll head over there. All
I
right,
saw
very
Purple
good.
Rain there.
All right.
That's
It's not
the
playing
Lowe's
in a
Theater.
movie theater. It's at Jim
It's at
Thompson's
Friendly's?
house, which is on Sasquatch Street. Yeah.
Okay.
No, it's in a theater.
All right, very good. 8 minutes past the hour, live from Studio 6B. So lots to get to today.
What a day.
President Trump overseas, and boy, the neocons today listening to that speech have got to think, whoa. Most of us don't think of President Trump as an isolationist, and I still don't. But his speech today had real tinges of, I don't know, I don't know, was it kind of isolationist wrapped in globalism, kind of?
Yeah.
But obviously still America first. But I don't know. What did you listen to? I didn't see the whole thing. I saw a lot of the highlights of it. I saw the part obviously where we're trying to make nice, I guess, with Syria at the request of the Crown Prince, which of course I believe was one of the huge things the right complained about under the Bush administration, that he was lifting sanctions.
Yeah.
And he got hammered from the right of our own party, and I guess I don't know how people feel about this now tonight. Maybe they've changed their mind because it's not Bush. The last name is Trump. But I'm pretty sure Bush got hammered when he tried to do the same thing. But what did you think of the president's speech today?
Yeah, well, let's unpack this a little bit. So, in the view of America First, right, which is where Trump's coming from, he just landed close to $1 trillion of investment for major things, not minor things, buying military equipment, investing in data centers and AI in American companies, lots and lots of things that actually will create jobs. So number one, America first, but the global idea and the globalism he was talking about was we went about it all wrong. We isolated. We didn't talk to people. We didn't try and help countries become better. We just told them what to do. And Trump's basically saying, look, I see a path to peace with Saudi Arabia becoming more of an economic power and maybe some other countries in the Middle East. All these crazies that are running these countries, they won't be able to get in power, and they'll actually have real economic base, like South Korea and like other places that we've helped, Japan and so on. So that's his idea of just telling the globalists, you did it all wrong. You didn't help any of these countries. Iraq, Afghanistan, none of it. None of it helped. So his speech, I thought, was pretty amazing because he basically said the entire strategy that you've deployed for decades and decades, it didn't work. And this type of thing could work. Look at Saudi Arabia. 50% of their income is now from things other than oil. Absolutely fascinating. And then you look at Syria, and I got a real problem with Syria because they're killing Christians. The new leadership is once a very radical person. And I think what Trump did here is to say, threw a bone to the prince and also said, okay, you want to talk? I'll lift him for now. Let's see what the talk comes to. Let's see if you actually have something material you want to bring to the table. Because if Syria is a good economic power, if Syria gets going, I mean, this just marginalizes Iran into a big fat zero, and it brings Israel into the mix, which I think is the ultimate idea. So that's my view on it. What about you, Rick? You got any thoughts on that?
Well, you know what? You mentioned Syria and Afghanistan, all these countries in the Middle East there, but it was a plan, Ben. It's not that they did it wrong. This is what they wanted to do. Remember, they went after Gaddafi in Libya after he had said, hey, we're all good now, right? He was trying to kind of do things the right way, and they still parked a missile into his house.
Right.
Under Clinton. I guess Hillary Clinton ordered that one.
Yeah. After meeting with his son, by the way.
Right. This was all a plan. They had a list of 7 countries they wanted to topple, and this is from General Wesley Clark. He famously recounted that the 7 countries in 5 years, that was the plan, starting with Iraq, then Syria, Lebanon, Libya, Somalia, Sudan, and finishing off with Iran.
Well, look at what happened.
Right.
Nothing.
Well, they
none of them have any economic basis whatsoever.
But they basically laid chaos in that entire area, and now we're still having to deal with it.
Yeah, fair point.
So,
yep.
All right, we'll talk more about the president's trip so far, his speech today. We'll get into some other news. We'll get into the Republicans' spending problem in the big, beautiful bill. We'll get to sports news all coming up on a Tuesday night live from Studio 6B.
Without
yeah, and then be like when the Reggie Miller days too.
Without the Reggie Miller, man. Reggie was
there'd be a lot more.
Reggie was awesome.
I mean, the two Western Conference teams have got to be thinking they're going to get rid of the Celtics for us, and they're going to get rid of the Cavs for us. What a cakewalk to the championship the Western Conference is going to have.
Yep.
Yeah, but who's going to win the West?
My point is, it doesn't really matter. Either one of those teams, Minnesota or Denver, will smash either one of these teams if it's Indiana and New York.
Would be ironic if it's Minnesota.
Minnesota looked good, man.
Smash.
Minnesota looked good.
4-0 smash. The finals will have a rating of about 0.4.
Oh,
No, not with the Knicks.
no one
If the
will
Knicks
watch
make
That
it, the
would
finals.
never
No,
happen.
the New York market,
It's
the
not
Knicks will
gonna
have
be
a
a
nice
four.
rating.
If the Knicks make it,
Yeah.
It's
that'll
not
help
gonna
the
be a
rating.
Indiana makes it, forget it.
They're not going to sweep.
They'll be hoping that Caitlin Clark comes out and shoots some baskets during the pregame.
I love
in
her,
Indiana.
man. She
Yeah,
is
she's
so
Minnesota
good.
or
She's
Denver
fantastic.
will
I love her, too.
smash
And tough.
the Knicks. If it's not 4-0 at most,
You think Indiana's going to beat the Knicks?
for a 3-1, 4-1.
Wow. The Knicks have got some depth. I think they got a decent team. You don't think so?
Indiana has more depth.
Super chat, Big
Yeah.
D. Drag Blacker in the YouTube super chat, $5.
I don't like the match.
Crazy Town isn't the same since Biden left. The only funny one
Correct.
was the which side are you on choir with Slick mesmerized by the honey sauce woman.
Correct.
I don't know who the honey sauce woman.
Not the same without Biden. It's just not.
I know, but they're still great.
Because we got, I could take a half-hour speech or a 20-minute speech and turn it into a good 3-4 minutes. There's nothing that long that's Mad Maxine doesn't give any speeches. No one gives any speeches
Best
like
Crazy Town ever wasn't even Biden. It was Nadler. That was the best Crazy Town ever.
that. Nadler, Pelosi, yeah, that was a good one too. We just don't have anything like that anymore.
Delgado gave birth on that segment. That was so funny, right?
Push.
That was fun.
Oh my God!
Seeing it, identifying where the turd popped.
Oh, man.
Boy, Indiana made came back.
That's what I'm saying. I'm talking about.
Chat live in the chats.
Judge
Let me
indicted.
jump over there. I forgot to jump over there. Sorry, chats.
You see, a Fox
Let me
News judge
Go
was,
to Rumbles.
judge was indicted for illegally aiding ICE.
The grand jury just put that indictment through, and we got to talk about
aiding
that.
ICE.
Yep.
That's a big story.
$17 past the hour, live from Studio 6B on a Tuesday night. Real America's Voice all across the country. Glad you're in. Rick Delgado's going to do the news. Vinnie Mac's going to have some thoughts on some news as well. Aaron and Fran holding it down as always. And, of course, you live from Studio 6B audience. We appreciate all of you in the chat. We'll get into that as well. Your thoughts. Follow us on social media at LFS6B. Of course, you can send us messages through social media during the show. On our X at LFS6B, at our Facebook at LFS6B, YouTube, Instagram, all of it, all at LFS6B. Make sure you follow us and make sure you head over to livefromstudio6b.com and sign up to be a member there. Absolutely free. Takes about 30 seconds to do it. It's a pretty easy process, so sign up there. Let's do some sports. Sports is brought to you by our friend Mike Lindell, MyPillow. LFS6B is the promo code to use at checkout. It'll give you a great savings. Slickster, what's going on?
All right, Big D. Well, let's first get to the scoreboard right now. To the ice we go. NHL action. Game 4. Dallas leading the series 2-1 in the West second round. No score, just underway. 16 to go in the first period. Dallas looking to take a commanding 3-1 lead over Winnipeg. I got a feeling Winnipeg may tie that one up tonight. At the half on the NBA hardcourt, Big D, East semifinals, Game 5. Indiana with a commanding 3-1 series lead, looking to close it out on the road over the Cleveland Cavaliers. Right now, that score 56-52 at the half. Cavs jumped out to a double-digit lead. However, the Pacers have come back to close out the half to cut it to 4. And then at 9:30 p.m., tip-off thereabouts, West semifinal, Game 5, series tied at 2. Good one, Nuggets and the Thunder. OKC at home, looking to take the spin. This is the linchpin Game 5, so very important playoffs. So 3 games in action. We'll keep you up to date on those games as they unfold. Obviously, the news of the day was the Pete Rose story breaking around, I guess it was around 3:30, 4 o'clock this afternoon. Major League Baseball reinstates Pete Rose and shoeless Joe Jackson amid sweeping ban lift. This is Dylan Gwynn of Breitbart reporting. Major League Baseball has taken the unprecedented action of reinstating Pete Rose and shoeless Joe Jackson, among others, from the permanently ineligible list, as ESPN's Dan Donato reported Tuesday. Dan Van Donato, MLB Commissioner Rob Manfred decided to reinstate Major League's all-time hit king, Rose and Jackson, though both were heavily tainted by gambling. The move now presumably makes both eligible for enshrinement in the Baseball Hall of Fame in Cooperstown, New York. Obviously, a person no longer with us cannot represent a threat to the integrity of the game, Manfred wrote in a letter to attorney Jeffrey M. Lenkoff, who petitioned petition for Rose's removal from the list. Moreover, it's hard to conceive of a penalty that has more deterrent effect than one that lasts a lifetime with no reprieve. Therefore, I have concluded that permanent ineligibility ends upon the passing of the disciplined individual, and Mr. Rose will be removed from the permanently ineligible list. Rose was placed on the permanently ineligible list back in 1989, remember it well, by then MLB Commissioner A. Bartlett Giamatti, after a league investigation determined that Rose had bet on games while managing the Cincinnati Reds. In the case of Shoeless Joe Jackson, he and 7 other members of the Chicago White Sox were banned from baseball in 1921 for their part in fixing the 1919 World Series, which was known as the Black Sox scandal back in the day. A lot of baseball historians know both these stories very well. Manfred's ruling removes a total of 16 deceased players and 1 deceased owner from Major League's banned list, a group that includes Jackson's teammates, ace pitcher Eddie Skakot, and third baseman George Buck Weaver. Van Nanata writes, the so-called Black Sox scandal is one of the darkest chapters in baseball history, the subject of books and the 1988 film 8 Man Out, great film. Lenkov hailed MLB's decision and voted to continue to push for Rose's Hall of Fame induction. So now what happens is they have what they call a classic committee or a seniors committee that meets, but they only meet like every 3 years. Their next meeting, December of 2027. So Rose and Shoeless Joe Jackson, as well as the other individuals, have to get on the ballot. The ballot, I believe, is limited to about a dozen players. You'll have 16 voters on this. Most of them are Hall of Fame players, a couple other individuals, baseball executives, and they will come together and they'll need a 2/3 vote. So you'll need 12 out of the 16 votes to get Pete Rose into the Hall of Fame.
He'll get it. His peers will vote for him.
I really, it's going to be interesting.
He did this while he was manager, right? The betting?
Correct.
Right? Not as a player.
But he was a player manager, too.
He
Was
did
he playing?
primarily as a manager. He was playing a very limited, occasional.
He should have been penalized. He should have gotten in trouble. All those things, yes, but not this. Yeah. He was a great player, probably the best ever. You could argue
best singles hitter ever, hands down. Yeah,
I mean this guy was. I remember when he was with the Phillies and they had that run.
1980, they won the World Series. They won the World Series in '80. Yep.
Yeah, he was a great player. I don't know. I never thought he should be kept out of the Hall of Fame, but that's just me.
I agree.
It didn't bother me what he did, and he paid the price for it.
I would never go to Cooperstown. I made that pledge to myself. I would never visit it up in New York, just a couple hours away, until Rose got put into the Hall of Fame. So I'm hoping he does get in. If he does, it'll be July of 2028 will be his first opportunity to enter the Hall. And I think it would be absolutely probably the largest and most covered Hall of Fame induction in many years, perhaps forever. Yeah. I mean, maybe you got to go back to
Babe Ruth. Just too late. That's all. That's my only beef with it.
Posthumously, really, it's tough. But, Rose knew what he did, and, he was difficult in his own way, too, Pete, and you heard that as well.
Yeah.
I loved him. I ran into him in a parking lot when I was a kid. Would you believe me and my friend ran into him and his agent? None of us had a pen on for him to sign. To this day, I keep a pen with me all the time. And it was it was the greatest, but we hugged it out. And this was 1984. It was a long time ago.
Wow.
But great story. So,
I was 12.
You were 12. That's right, Big D. So I got my hat. Rose was the 1975 World Series MVP. That was a classic 7-game series against the Boston Red Sox. Remember it well. That's about when I became a Reds fan back in like 74, 75. I was 12, about 12 back then.
He had that Mo haircut from the Three Stooges.
Wait, you were 12 when?
I was 12 in 1976.
When Pete started playing back in...
Wow. You look good for your age.
Yeah, you do look good for your age.
I do. For 60, not bad. Good stuff. Not bad. Come on now.
What's interesting, though, is that you would think other players might get in. They put Clemens and they put Barry Bonds on that list you're talking about, and both of them only got about 4 votes.
Yeah,
they're not getting in.
That's
steroids. That's performance. That's steroids.
Yeah,
steroids. He performed.
Yeah,
and then he got in trouble.
Yep. But like Big D said earlier in tonight, he says, now that you have MGM Bet and every other app on people's phones nowadays, and the way people are gambling in sports and what it is in Vegas. Vegas is like the hot sports bet, right? You got the Knights. You got the Oakland A's will be moving to Vegas. Then, of course, you have the Raiders. They've relocated. So it's all over the place now. It's much more accepted. Steroids, I don't think that'll ever be something that'll be mainstream. Where
no,
people
definitely
will be
not.
Getting that type of stuff in the doctor's office. But good stuff, Big D. That's a wrap in sports. Pete Rose, congratulations to you and your family.
All right, Slick, very good. 24 past the hour, live from Studio 6B. Sports is brought to you by Mike Lindell. LFS6B is the promo code to use at checkout if you want to shop at MyPillow. So here's one of the there's many of the president's speech, but this is one of the moments that certainly caught my attention and caught a lot of people's attention as the president talks about really reshaping kind of a new world order of thinking. Here's a little bit of the president from today.
And it's crucial for the wider world to note this great transformation has not come from Western interventionists or flying people in beautiful planes giving you lectures on how to live and how to govern your own affairs. No, the gleaming marvels of Riyadh and Abu Dhabi were not created by the so-called nation builders, neocons, or liberal nonprofits like those who spent trillions and trillions of dollars failing to develop Kabul, Baghdad, so many other cities. Instead, the birth of a modern Middle East has been brought by the people of the region themselves, the people that are right here, the people that have lived here all their lives, developing your own sovereign countries, pursuing your own unique visions and charting your own destinies in your own way. It's really incredible what you've done. In the end, the so-called nation builders wrecked far more nations than they built, and the interventionists were intervening in complex societies that they did not even understand themselves. They told you how to do it, but they had no idea how to do it themselves. Peace, prosperity, and progress ultimately came not from a radical rejection of your heritage, but rather from embracing your national traditions and embracing that same heritage that you love so dearly.
All right, we'll talk about that. Plus, we'll do news with Rick Delgado when we get back right after this.
Ricky, you want one of these shirts?
No, not at all.
Well, because I can get you a really good deal on them.
I'm sure you can.
A really good deal.
You trying to get rid of them? They're only slightly worn.
You know how I got this shirt? Seriously? On Facebook. You know, it came through my feed, and I saw the shirt, and I was like, oh, I like this. Pushed the button. Pushed another button. And I got the shirt.
Why you don't buy things on Facebook?
That's why. I buy so much stuff on Facebook. It's not even funny.
Do you?
Oh, my God.
Really?
Sneakers. I'm a sneaker guy. That's my thing. I love sneakers. I've got about 30 pair. In Florida, I got about 30 pair here. I throw a bunch out. You're kind of like Slick Rick there, but
Slick.
none of them have heels. Thank you. But that's how I see them. I see them in a feed. I buy them. I'm like, oh, it looks cool. I don't care who makes it.
You ever wear them?
I wear them all the time. I got my Air Jordan Louis Vuitton.
He wears them when he goes to California.
Yeah, I wear them all the time.
Yeah, they're nice. They're beautiful. You have a Louis Vuitton bag, don't you? Box?
It's Louis Vuitton, Vitton.
Sit down when you pee.
Not the actual. I like Cole Haan. I wear those a lot. That's one of my big brands.
Cole Haan.
We'll have a whole Vinnie Mac line out of
That's a good brand, Cole
shoe
Haan.
line. Thank you.
They were big years ago.
They were big years ago.
Well, they were.
Not so much now, they're big.
Well, I don't know. I just remember them being big
I think
years
they're
ago.
still pretty big.
I could put my sneakers up like he does the shoe at the end. We could do that.
Yeah.
But I have to say, no comparison. I mean, Slick's shoes, man, they're just, one of a kind. Maybe two of a kind, actually.
Do you think Giannis is going to stay? He's not going to stay in Milwaukee, is he?
No.
They keep talking about trading him. Like,
Yep.
well,
It's going to the Sixers.
not gonna-
Yeah, you wish.
Sixers don't have anything to give.
They do. You're going to give up.
What, the whole team?
No. What do you
stadium?
mean? Actually,
you
they
can
could package Embiid and Maxey and easily make that deal, but I wouldn't do that. I like Maxey too much.
Yeah. Here, would you like a piece of glass?
No, well, Maxey's great. Maxey's a great player. You got to give him some
Yeah, but
credit.
that's all you
good.
have.
Who? Maxey? Who's Maxey?
Tyrese Maxey. the
Tyrese
Sixers.
Maxey, yeah, he's a good
guard.
player.
Excellent player.
But the other guy,
he averaged like 20. He averaged like 23 this year until he got hurt. He got hurt too, though.
Get Embiid for like what? Chicken sandwich.
Well, who can they
and
get?
like
Who's a good number 3 pick this year? Obviously, Cooper Flagg most likely is going to go to Utah, right?
I heard some guy in
No,
ESPN
Denver.
saying if I was
Denver.
Dallas, I'd
No,
trade
Dallas.
the pick.
Dallas, yeah.
What?
I heard some guy in ESPN saying if I was Dallas, I'd trade the pick. right, 30 minutes past the hour, live from Studio 6B, Real America's Voice, all across the country. Glad you're in. Slick Rick's here. I was going to do some more sports on a Tuesday night. Rick Delgado's going to do the news. Vinnie Mac's got some thoughts on some news coming up. We'll talk more about President Trump's speech overseas today. Talk about other news, what else is going on. But right now, please welcome to the show Lane Martinson. He's the CEO of Martinson Wealth Management, and he's the author of the 5W Retirement Blueprint. Lane's also the host of a very popular YouTube channel, Financial Fastlane. Please welcome to Live from Studio 6B. Lane, how are you?
Hey, I'm doing great. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
It's great to have you on the show. We've been talking a lot about retirement and what's going on in markets, and obviously with President Trump and tariffs and inflation obviously came in, CPI at 2.3%. So there's lots to talk about. But let's first talk about your YouTube channel. You have a very popular YouTube channel, as I said, Financial Fastlane. Why are so many people, or how did you get so many people interested in your YouTube channel?
Yeah, I ask myself that question all the time.
Yeah.
I think it's, we just provide educational information that people are interested in. We've done we do quite a bit of on the subject of Social Security, and it's a very complex government program, and so how do you navigate that? So people are interested. How do we get the most out of our Social Security? How do we get the most out of, most people, when they think of retirement planning, they're thinking about saving for retirement, right? But then the people that are most interested in our channel are the people who are actually getting close to retirement. And they're like, well, how do we navigate from here? How do we turn our assets into a stream of tax efficient income? How do we make the most of Social Security? And so, yeah, that's what we do.
Yeah, I know that's what you do on the YouTube channel. And obviously, we talked about the book, the 5W Retirement Blueprint. So talk to me about the philosophy behind the book, why you wrote the book, kind of the core philosophy, and kind of give me what the goal of the book is. Is it to kind of, most people look at retirement as obviously something that can be overwhelming, very complex, like you just said. Did you write it to kind of deal with that part of it, or tell me about the book?
Yeah, we did. It's, there's a lot of bias in the financial services industry. I mean, it's very complex. And there's kind of the traditional approach, and there's different schools of thought. And so when someone is getting close to retirement, they've got a bunch of important decisions they're going to have to make. And so the book is kind of give them a big overview of the whole kind of the industry, how it works, what are the different schools of thought, what kind of questions or decisions are you going to have to make. So that's a big part of it. But then it's really how, what are the key obstacles, and what are some of the different solutions that may be presented. And so it's really preparing people so that they can make a good decision or make good decisions as they need to make them for a retirement plan.
Yeah. We're speaking with Lane Martinson. He's the CEO of Martinson Wealth, and you can check him out, his YouTube channel, financialfastlane.com. And, of course, you can get his book, The 5W Retirement Blueprint, wherever books are sold. Of course, on Amazon is probably the easiest place. In your book, you talk about the importance of private equity. So talk a little bit about why private equity is so important.
Yeah, most portfolios, retirement portfolios, are almost exclusively publicly traded securities. And so there's a big opportunity that a lot of people are not really aware of, and that's investing in private equity and having some combination. Certainly the public markets are important, but private equity does not have the same fluctuations that you see in the public market, right? I mean, every time there's something going on with the news, the markets are up, the markets are down. There's day traders, there's robo-advisors that are making trades automatically. And so there's a lot of action and a lot of volatility in the public side. But private equity, which is a very large opportunity, traditionally has not, people don't really have access, right? How do you access it? It's traditionally been the larger hedge funds or large institutions, people that can hold positions for a long time. But nowadays, we can access a very nice, diversified portfolio of private equity with liquidity built in. So typically quarterly liquidity. It's not going to be daily liquidity like the stock market, but still a high level of liquidity, which is something that's really kind of developed over the past few years.
Let's talk about retirement in general. You know, there's a lot of people in this audience that are probably of retirement age, or at least in that red zone of retirement. Obviously, people are retiring later in life now. Kind of everything is getting pushed later as people live longer. And obviously, people's number one concern, obviously, is outliving their money. Is they're going to have enough money to get through retirement as they move from kind of the income stage into the retirement stage. But what are some of the biggest not misconceptions, but some of the biggest mistakes you've seen people make as they're headed towards retirement? And what's the one, if you had to point to one big thing to kind of avoid, to not make that mistake, what would it be?
Yeah, well, it's more than just one. But one is ignoring taxes, right? A lot of times people are thinking in terms of diversifying a portfolio from an investment standpoint, and they completely ignore diversification from a tax standpoint. And tax efficient planning can make a tremendous difference in the sustainability of a retirement plan. So taxes and good tax planning is a big part of that. And also just managing risk effectively. The other thing is sequence of returns risk is a risk that people never experience until retirement. It's when they start to take withdrawals. All of a sudden there's this whole new component, an added risk. So you have to have a strategy to manage sequence of returns risk. And that's where you really need to have investments that are uncorrelated with each other, truly diversified. And you can't do that with all public securities, for example. You got to have other types of assets in the mix.
Yeah. We're speaking with Lane Martinson. Again, you can check out his YouTube channel at financialfastlane.com, financialfastlane.com. So for someone watching this interview tonight, someone watching from all across the country, what would be your, someone who's kind of thinking about their retirement plan, maybe unsure about it, feeling unsure, feeling nervous? What is a first step, or what is a step that they should take to maybe gain some clarity or confidence about what they're doing and if they're set up for retirement the proper way?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's really educating themselves. I would say don't assume you kind of know all the answers, because just because something has been taught to you for years and years, and there's kind of like the traditional approach, you just want to know what are all the options? What is the value of comprehensive, holistic planning versus a more traditional approach? And I can tell you, it's a significant difference. A good plan, it's all about planning, right? A good plan is actually going to give you more income in retirement than if you don't have a good plan. And so it's got to be comprehensive. It's got to take into your whole financial picture. You got to look at Social Security. You got to look at taxes. You got to look at healthcare. You got to look at inflation, how we're going to stay ahead of inflation. So when you're looking at all the different parts and they're holistically planned, it creates efficiencies, and your money will last longer. And it's a quantifiable, verifiable fact that you can have more income with a good plan. So that's my thing. I would just say, get yourself educated, make sure, because you're going to be making some important decisions if you haven't already, and just know what your options are.
All right, great stuff for the audience. The book is 5W Retirement Blueprint. It's available wherever books are sold, on Amazon. And again, financialfastlane.com if you want to check out Lane's YouTube channel. I'm sure there's a lot of education there for all viewers. martinsonwealth.com online if you want to visit them. Lane, thanks for giving us a few moments tonight. Really appreciate it.
Hey, thank you much. Appreciate it.
All right, Lane Martinson there. Again, the book 5W Retirement Blueprint, a lot of important stuff as you're getting into that red zone of retirement with everything going on with taxes. If I had more time with him, I would ask him about taxes, because people say with $36 trillion of debt in this country, taxes have no place to go up. But here we are with the big, beautiful bill. Do we get it done? And taxes actually, we make the Trump tax cuts from his first term permanent. What happens to the deficit? Well, so we'll get into all of that. But let's do some news here at 39 past the hour. Rick Delgado's got it. What news is brought to you by our friends at eternallifecoin.com. What's going on, Delgado?
Hello? There I am. I'm talking and nothing's coming out. That was probably like a godsend from Damon. He's like, oh, good. He's lost his voice. Doing a little news, talking about Trump, talking about the big, beautiful bill. We'll cover that probably later. But, of course, the big news is U.S. President Donald Trump arriving in Saudi Arabia today, touching down. And this is pretty impressive when you see the reception that President Trump got here in cut number 5 as he arrives in Saudi Arabia in their capital of Riyadh to make his speech before the large contingent there, arriving, of course, on Air Force One, the first stop of the 4-day visit. Check out this arrival that he gets on cut number 5. Here he is. Look at this. Talk about a welcoming committee, huh? Man. I haven't seen that many U.S. flags. I don't see
Certainly won't see that many U.S. flags at any Democrat events.
Exactly.
I can tell you that.
Biden went there, and it was just a big zero. They fist pumped, I think.
Right, they fist bumped. They sent a delegate to meet him at the airport to bring him over.
Yeah.
This, of course, a much different reception as it kicks off the first stop of a 4-day visit to the region, the first major overseas trip of his second term to focus on securing investment in the U.S. economy worth as much as $1 trillion. I think today they said he signed a deal with the Crown Prince over there for $600 billion in investment that he's bringing back to the United States. He thanked the Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salam Al Saud. And if you want to go to, let's see, it's cut number 2. This is impressive because this is in Saudi Arabia. And it was almost like they wanted to make sure he was as comfortable as possible. They let him play whatever music he wanted. Check out the intro that he got. This is cut number 2. Meanwhile, before you hear this clip, they played the entire song before this part. Cut number 2, check this out. So he plays to Lean Greenwood. God bless the USA.
That's a ton of respect, which they just did.
All of those people stood the entire time during the entire intro song. And then, of course, he does a speech. And here's how he ended the speech. You can't really do better than this. Cut number 7. Look at this.
You have a tremendous future. Thank you very much. And please pay my respects to your father. Thank you very much.
Everybody again on their feet. Listen to the music.
Wow. There you go.
He finishes.
Don't tell me the Crown Prince did the towel dance with.
He didn't do the towel dance.
Oh, no.
But again, here you have it in Saudi Arabia, a very different culture than ours.
Oh, yeah.
Very respectful for the Crown Prince, the royal family, all that stuff. And they're letting this guy, the President of the United States, kind of command what they're going to listen to.
Well, yes, they are.
It's amazing. It's amazing to watch.
What are they going to do?
The respect that they've given him.
I do have a clip of the
thing.
response he got, the reception. If you want to, you could play it during your segment here because you.
Well, we only got a minute left, but it's worth noting that the entire time that the song played on the intro and when he left, people were standing the entire time.
Yeah, amazing.
It's just an amazing reception.
Yeah.
Look at this.
Yeah, quite different from the from the last
course,
moron.
Positioning his hand on top to let people know, even the Crown Prince.
I'm in charge.
I'm in charge.
Yeah.
Yeah. By the way, we'll talk a little bit about that last moron and the morons on the media who are trying to profit off that moron. All right, live from Studio 6B. We're back right after this.
Moron equals Biden. Is that what we're talking about?
I think you have to shut YouTube down tonight.
I have to say, I mean, I follow most of the chats, but I really stay on the Facebook chat. And
Rough grass.
this is like a family. They talk to each other. We could be talking about something. They'll pay attention to that, but they're talking to each other, getting feedback. How's your life? I had, eye surgery. It's hilarious.
They're exchanging recipes.
They are, but that is not even a joke. I've seen that happen too.
And I think that's the best part of the chat.
Yeah.
Is that the relationships of people.
The relationships are great, and I'd like to see a recipe or two. Make some meatballs or something.
Somebody was and the reason why I bring up the recipes, is because I think it was probably 6 months ago, I saw somebody talking about a barbecue recipe. And they were going back and forth, like, well, what do you do? I'm like, this is interesting. I like it was more interesting than what we were doing at that point.
Use
I'm
that.
like, I like barbecue.
Yeah. There you go. You learn something too, Rick. You know, it's a learning experience.
Yeah.
Sometimes they could really burn your brisket in the chat, too.
Yeah.
This really burns my brisket.
I think what you get is just honesty. If they don't like something one of us said, they say it.
And that's a fair assumption. You're absolutely right.
And if they don't care for a segment or two, they'll say it. And you know what? Take the shots. Take the shot.
Yeah, but that reception he got, it was like
Phenomenal.
It's almost rally-ish.
And he had a purple rug, right? A purple rug they put down.
Well, I have a clip when he first came onto stage, and when you see it, it's short, but you would think he gave this speech, he was in MAGA territory,
right?
You know, giving a speech. Yeah, so he proved to us in this trip once again why we all voted. Simple as that.
She said the clip is from later in the speech after the Syria announcement.
Oh, okay. There we go. I'm on the last channel. I keep changing channels. That's how I am at home. No one gets the remote.
That was a great Jimmy Buffett song, Changing Channels. One of the more underrated songs that no one ever knew, but was just fantastic.
Did you get a chance to listen to Ed Martin's clip that I sent you?
I did.
It was pretty good, right?
Phenomenal.
And he's going to be up, I think, this Friday with his wife.
So nice to hear someone who actually gets it talk about it.
Yeah.
Actually understands what he's watching. To the hour live from Studio 6B. On a Tuesday night, I was playing my air guitar.
Too bad there's air coming out of your mouth.
Very impressive.
Oof.
Just don't do a wiki.
Yeah, just don't do that.
Just 13 to the hour live from Studio 6B. We were doing news with Delgado, and you guys, what's this clip you guys are discussing, going back and forth on?
The Trump clip.
The Trump clip, yeah. It really, really blew me away. He got such an incredible roar in Saudi Arabia. I mean, think about this. Put this in context. It's historic in many ways. You know, the President of the United States goes to Saudi Arabia, and we've had our issues with Saudi Arabia. There's still some open-ended issues with Saudi Arabia. And he goes there, and you don't know how he's going to be received. And he's Trump. You know, he's saying it like it is. He's trying to push a deal. And I think, Aaron, you've got that clip fired up. And this is how they responded. Take a listen.
I will be ordering the cessation of sanctions against Syria in order to give them a chance at greatness.
They stand up. They give him a standing ovation. It really talks to how important the President of the United States is. You cut that, especially in that part of the world where I don't think we've been this important, you know, over the last many, many years. This is how important the President of the United States is for the progress to happen in that part of the world. And what he's doing with Syria, talk about playing a game of chess. You have the Abraham Accord, which he threw in this speech, which was super important because if the Saudis then continue on the path they're going and start working with Israel, who, by the way, have the top AI technology scientists, some of the top ones in the world, maybe second to ours, but right there, they have a lot of things that can work very well with Saudi Arabia. The Abraham Accords are meaningful because Saudi and Israel will have some form of connectivity. Then he floats that out, and then he goes right to Syria, and he's basically saying, you want to play ball or not? Because, the other side of it is what he said to Iran. Right. You want to talk? And if the talk doesn't solve this thing, well, there's really bad things that are going to happen here because we're not going to let you have a nuclear weapon.
What do you think? What do you think Bibi's thinking tonight? Looking at this Syria thing, the new guy in Syria, whatever they call him,
yeah,
he's a former Al Qaeda militant, isn't he not?
He is.
Who's linked to murdering Americans?
I don't know. I don't know.
I don't know about that, but he is linked to that group, and he's got a checkered past, to say the least. Perhaps he's redeemed himself, but how do you...
Now, you've talked about Syria being concerned, or you or Paul, in the recent weeks about the murdering of Christians as well.
I have, yeah.
Yeah.
That's been a big deal, frankly. They have done that. It's been outrageous. It's been flat-out genocide. But how do you solve these things is more the point I'm trying to get to. Like, can we go in and bomb Syria? We did. The Israelis did. Assad gassed his own people. We didn't exactly have a great leader back then either, who was, by the way, partners with, Russia and probably in the fringe of partnering with China. So now we got this guy. He's got a checkered past. He needs help. Saudi's now jumping on the Trump train, not the chain. And now you've got Syria, which is probably one of the big hot spots in the Middle East, along with Iran, in terms of solving something. The dominoes can fall really quick here. I think that there's a huge opportunity, and Trump was alluding to it, for massive peace. Massive. At epic proportions. When did you ever think in our lifetime, and I know it hasn't happened in mine, where Israel could be at peace with anybody in the Middle East? Anybody. Not one country. When did you ever think that was possible, where they could actually work together? Now, and I know the Saudi story very, very well. As you know, I'm very involved in business in Africa. My partner in Africa is in Saudi all the time. They are funding just about everything you could imagine. Theme parks, hotels, technology, sports teams. They are involved in everything. This new leader has some great ideas, and he's lightened up the whole issue on women. Now, it's not fixed, but it's lightened up. He's made a lot of progress, so I'm sure there's a path to more progress to be made. But in this game of chess that Trump is playing, it's unprecedented, the level of peace that we may actually see here. And that's what I'm excited about.
When you remove or when you take a look at why they could be so excited, I mean, what does the Trump administration represent? Not business as usual, which is CIA, covert operations, overthrowing, governments, leading protest, color revolutions through that region for the last couple decades. I'd be excited too, I guess. I mean, you've got the checkered past, which I guess should be dealt with. But in terms of this guy in charge of Syria right now, Ahmad al-Shara, he was born in Saudi Arabia, which probably gives credence to why they're excited about his potential in maybe shoring up things in Syria. Because I guess Saudi Arabia has to look at things too. We want a safe area too because we live here. Yep. We can't have all this nonsense
That's exactly
going
where they're
on in our
coming
backyard. Right?
Saudi Arabia is on a path to revolutionize the Middle East from a technology standpoint. And if they're going to be successful, they need Syria not to be on fire.
Right.
They need Israel not to be on fire. They need all these places. They need Iran not to be. They're as threatened by Iran as anybody. That's a really, really big deal. And what Trump's done in his own special way, and you just made that point, or I think maybe Damon made that point, because he is not business as usual. Mm-hmm. He's gone in there and said, I want to make great deals for this country, and we could do great things with you. Let's figure out how to solve these problems in a productive, positive, business-like manner. And we're seeing it every day. Right. And it's having its results.
And also, I think in the same swoop of trying to stabilize Syria, is that puts Iran kind of in a box. They're being surrounded by all these countries now that are, lining up with the Abraham Accords. Now you've got them falling in line, getting behind Trump, and they're seeing the power shift in their area. and they're on the outside looking in. Maybe that's the ultimate power that he's trying to push to get them to denuclearize.
Think about this. We talked about the minerals deal in Ukraine. Why even do that? Why even do that? Well, we have a business interest. We want to get paid. We need the minerals. So it's in Ukraine, Mr. Putin.
Right.
Okay.
Yep.
That changes the dynamic a little.
Which also makes it a military interest.
Exactly. Now we're doing business with Saudi. They're trying to grow. And Iran's going to be isolated here in a huge way. Plus, the entire country's going to be left behind, as is Syria. Because if they ever did something to Israel, who eventually is going to become partners with Saudi Arabia through this Abraham Accord, it's going to happen. It's not going to happen.
Right.
If I were a guessing man, I would say the following deal got struck. Hey, lighten the stuff up with Syria. No more sanctions. And you know what? We're going to take a close look at this Abraham Accord. How's that sound? How's that for a deal? Yeah, okay. Let's go do that. Yeah. Trump announces it, gets a standing ovation from a Saudi audience. And to the point you just made, that puts so much pressure across the board, especially on Iran and Syria.
Yeah, and he finishes off with YMCA.
And he finishes off with YMCA. You can't write this stuff, man.
All right, quick wrap. Hour 1 on a Tuesday night. More to do. Hour 2 coming up live from Studio 6B right after this.
I will actually be in Minneapolis if they make the NBA Finals. I will actually be right across the street from the Target Center. I may try to get a ticket if they play them.
That would be fun.
That would be fun.
Hey, that was a dynamite conversation because this is probably one of the most earth-shattering things I think Trump's done since he's been president, and I didn't see it coming like at this level.
I don't think anybody.
Yeah, I mean the impact wasn't promoted and wasn't talked about even just on the news show in general. Good conversation.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how it all plays out.
What's going on here? Hello, my Facebook friends. I had a couple of good Facebook battles, by the way.
You know what? I can't do it lately. I'm just like, no, you're all too stupid. I just can't.
Yeah, it's true.
Because they're all talking about the plane now. I'm not going to talk to you about the plane. We already know the plane is going to be taken by the Department of Defense. Stop with your nonsense.
I won't engage in that conversation.
No, it's just stupid.
I'll tell you what mine was about, but I'll save it for when we're back on because it's just typical left trying to find anything they can to down this guy. Yeah, I have a couple of things different than what's been talking about here.
You have another guest too, right?
Fran, we have a guest at 9:30? We do? Who is it? Okay.
Good feedback on things that are going on in Iran on the chat. Like to hear that. My man Gerald Wayne Hawkins has been talking Syria a lot. By the way, before anybody took Syria seriously, Gerald was. And he was talking about the Christians there and so on. And He's actually been feeding me some really good info. But today, I think, Gerald, you're seeing what we're seeing, right?
Hour 2, live from Studio 6B on a Tuesday night, May 13th, all across the country. Real America's Voice. Glad you're in on a Tuesday. Slick's going to do more sports coming up right here in a second. Delgado's going to do some more news. Vinnie Mac has got some thoughts as well. Vinnie Mac and Delgado just went at it for the whole segment. I thought that was great, by the way.
Oh, it was great, man. Rick's got his finger right on it, too.
Well,
I don't think we went at it. We were just kind of diving into
like
it.
in agreement.
Great, man.
Yeah.
Like knocking it out of the
Just
park
trying to
there.
figure out, like, you know.
People thought I fell asleep.
Well, you
Yeah,
did.
well,
didn't fall
I did,
asleep.
I noticed some
Letting
snoring
these guys do their thing.
background.
Nancy Burns, by the way, Damon, says she loves your shirt.
My shirt, thank you
Yeah.
very
My
much,
shirt,
Nancy.
thank
Yeah,
you. Someone else asked about it.
We found
Oh,
the
not
one.
you, me.
We found the one person that likes Damon's shirt aside from
No,
Damon.
no, there's many people who like my shirt.
Nobody
many people.
Nobody likes that shirt.
It's very soft.
Very TJ Maxx fabric.
Called,
I can use that as a sleeping bag.
Jeez.
oh, is this funny, Vin?
No, I'm laughing at something someone said on social media. It's not
Oh,
funny at
yeah.
all.
We're laughing at that, too, tonight.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. Wow.
We're laughing at that.
All right, very good. So we'll do some more news with all the guys, more sports with Slickster, Aaron, and Fran holding it down as always. Someone's joining us at 9:30. It's Matthew Cox from Home Title Lock will join us at 9:30, so we'll talk to him.
All right.
So lots to do. I do want to get to the big, beautiful bill and Ron Johnson, who I think people like Ron Johnson, right?
Yeah.
A lot.
Yeah.
He's got a piece in the Wall Street Journal. I don't know if they'll like him after this, but at least he's telling the actual truth about this disaster.
I don't like the big, beautiful bill.
And it is an absolute disaster. And so you can send me all the Debbie Downer emails and texts that you want, but I'm not grabbing the pom-poms for $4 trillion debt ceiling hike. Sorry, just not doing it. So we'll get into the interest on the federal debt, by the way, in April, this past month, was $101 billion. No fixing of roads, no fixing of bridges, no health care, no military spending, schools, hospitals, nada, zippo, nothing. Just the interest payment on the debt. $101 billion in April, and they're only going to go up. So we'll get into that. Let's do some sports. By the way, I saw Eli Crane on with Steve Bannon today, and I've got like 3 or 4 clips from that interview because he nails it. And as I've said, I think Steve comes at this almost from the same point of view I do.
Yeah, he's coming at it hard, for sure.
Yeah. All right, but let's do some sports. Then we'll do some news with Vinnie Mac, and then we'll get to all of this if we have time at the bottom of the hour. After we talk to our guest, we'll get into the big, beautiful bill if we can. Slickster, let's get an update on sports since we didn't do it the last segment. Sports is brought to you by Mike Lindell. What's going on?
We got a great series going on between the New York Knicks and the Boston Celtics, but the Boston fans got some really rough news earlier today, as if they didn't know last night when it happened.
Yeah.
Celtics, Jason Tatum has surgery on ruptured right Achilles.
That was painful to watch, man.
Yeah, terrible.
I'm
Tim
sorry. It was
Bontemps at ESPN.
painful to watch.
I mean, you knew right away, right?
Yeah.
We both said it when we were watching
Honestly,
it live
pulling
here
for
on
the
show.
Knicks, but you know, it's just hard to watch. The guy's playing an Hall of Fame game.
40 points, yeah.
He was amazing.
He's given so much to the city, to the team, and then for that to happen is just brutal.
Boston Celtics announced Tuesday that superstar forward Jason Tatum underwent surgery to repair a ruptured right Achilles tendon Tuesday afternoon after suffering the injury late in the fourth quarter of Monday's Game 4 loss to the New York Knicks. The team said the surgery was a success and that no timetable was available for his return. But Big D, we kind of know from history that he'd be lucky if he makes it back for the playoffs next year.
Yeah, it's at least a year, 14 months probably.
Tatum was in the midst of one of the best playoff games of his career, scoring 42 points, 16 for 28 shooting before he crumpled trampled to the ground in immense pain with 3 minutes to go in the fourth quarter Monday night. And obviously now the rest is history as far as the Knicks. They're up 3-1. They'll be looking to close it out. I believe that game, is that tomorrow night? We got
Tomorrow
that game?
night? Yeah, Wednesday night.
Yep, in Boston, TD Garden. So we will definitely be covering that on the show. So really some tough story there. And this story
odds in that game, I wonder.
I don't know. Well, you'll check that out.
Boston minus 4.5 at home.
Well, they're going to, listen, they're going to be playing lights out all they can. Porzingis and Horford and the rest of the guys.
Times like these, though, teams do step up. Like weird things happen when this type of thing happens.
Rick was saying earlier, he says somebody else he's going to watch.
Somebody else
like
going to
Brown step up.
Yep.
Well, you'll have one of these guys that'll play lights out. It always happens, right?
It always happens.
I think your exact words were you think they're a more dangerous team for the Knicks now.
Yes. Because you have a mindset when you're going up against a team. It's like, all right, I'm lining up against this guy, and then all of a sudden somebody comes out and they have to change their lineups a bit, and Boston's going to change their lineups, and all of a sudden matchups change.
They do.
And all of a sudden you might find yourself like, I'm not playing as well against this guy as I was playing against that other guy.
Sure, I've been watching a lot of tape on Tatum, of course, because he's their premier player.
Right.
And like you said, Big D, what is it? What are the Knicks are minus 300? Is that what they are? The odds to win the rest of the series?
In the series, yeah. Which I thought was kind of disrespectful to the Knicks because they should be more than that.
Yeah, the odds are. I mean, we talked about earlier. Only one team has come back from a 3-1 deficit, right?
And that only happened in the finals, yeah.
Yeah, a long time ago. And this story, which needed some serious editing, but I'm going to do the best I can to edit this down from Fox News, is high school girls allege track meet officials forced them to take off Protect Girls Sports shirts. The meet featured a trans athlete competing in the girls' competition. This is Jackson Thompson of Fox News. The California Interscholastic Federation came under fire this week for a postseason track meet that saw a biologically male trans athlete placed in the top 9 of the 3 girls' events. The CIF Southern Section Division III prelims at Yorba Linda High School on Saturday erupted into a political rally over the issue of trans inclusion in girls' sports, with multiple competitors and attendees wearing shirts that read "Protect Girls Sports," hoisting picket signs and speaking out at press conferences. Per the CIF section playoff bulletin, all athletes must be dressed in proper school-issued track uniforms. Pay attention here. The student athletes were asked to comply with this while in the on-field event area, as they were wearing said shirts over their school-issued uniform, the CIF said in a statement. However, witnesses have told Fox News Digital that officials did not give the same orders to athletes wearing other non-school uniform shirts without the Protect the Girls Sports message. Hey, a little dichotomy here, huh? The protest came in response to biologically male trans athlete who competed in the girls' high jump, long jump, and triple jump for Jurupa Valley High School. The trans athlete ultimately finished in the top 9 in the girls' high jump. Well, at least he didn't win long jump, and finished in first place in the triple jump. So he did win that. By virtue of placing in the top 9 in all those events, the athlete will advance in the state semifinals, where the 3 female athletes who finished in 11th place in those events will miss out. So, again, not fair to the girls there. And meanwhile, many of the athletes who competed had to wait through hours-long intermission after temperatures exceeded 100 degrees, putting the event in a weather delay due to dangerous heat levels. So it goes on to detail the rest of the event. However, they were forced to take off their shirts. Isn't that crazy? So, no, and then, of course, people were wearing other shirts that weren't track-issued school uniforms, and they weren't obviously
It's not crazy. They could wear Black Lives Matter shirts. They could wear all this other stuff that's outrageous and deals in hate. And here are these girls just trying to protect their sport. Yeah, common sense. I mean, that's ridiculous.
And they were cute with white shirts with little pink writing, protect women's sports. I mean, really.
What's wrong with saying that, by the way? Protect women's sports. That could mean 100 things.
Well, Vin, they were in California now. Come on. Yeah. We know what goes on there. All right, and that's a wrap in sports, Big D. Back to you.
All right, Slick, very good. LFS6B is the promo code at MyPillow, who sponsors sports at checkout. Vinnie Mac is here. Vinnie Mac, what else has been on your mind besides what's going on with the president in Saudi Arabia?
Yeah, all the books coming out on Joe Biden now.
This is unbelievable.
all the information that's coming out. It is a little sickening. Jake Tapper, shame on you, pal. Shame on you. Just looking at the old clips of Jake. But I started thinking about it in a different context. And I started
Nero writing a book about being upset about the burning. I mean, it's just crazy.
Yeah, it's horrible. But I'm taking a look at the Biden presidency, what he sold us on. How he got elected as a centrist, really, in the middle. Joe, been around him in the middle. Joe Biden, all this nonsense about Joe Biden. Joe really let us down. Joe allowed his handlers to basically run the government. He allowed his weakness to take us down all over the world. I mean, the weakness had an effect in just about everything. And he wasn't qualified or capable and wasn't honest about it, and he's still not honest about it. And I think just overall, what I go to when I hear all this craziness is I go right to Joe Biden. Like, you've been in government your whole life. You've wanted to be president your whole life. You become president, and you just absolutely mess it up, and you let us down. All these things that are coming out, I point the finger at Biden. His staff lied about him, all this stuff, but he let us down as the president of the United States, the most powerful position in the world. And the fact that we're all in mortal danger because this guy wouldn't be honest. I mean, China came right out and said and told Trump, you know, hey, we knew Biden was weak. We were just waiting it out. And Trump comes in and, you know, in 4 months, they have, you know, the makings of this great deal.
I know, but Vin, you make it sound so nice. It was done purposefully. I mean, it was a strategy. It wasn't like, oh, geez, Joe, you did a bad job. Nice try and better luck next time. I mean, you know what I mean?
I do understand that. And I guess my point is, you know, where's the honor, you know, in the office? Where is the honor? There should be some honor. They owe it to us. The president of the United States owes that to the citizens of this country. Maybe senators don't. They should. But maybe they don't and they won't. But the president of the United States, they owe us that. And so I blame Joe completely. A couple other things jump out at me. I got into this.
Blame Obama, by the way, because he still remains the single most dangerous president the country has ever had. And he's probably 98% responsible for what Joe or whoever, I mean, Joe was the front guy, but Susan Rice or whoever it was that was pulling the strings.
I agree. Obama, I believe that to be so. Obama was behind all of this stuff, policy-wise, et cetera, et cetera. And that's where I still hold Joe accountable. You're president in the United States. You lied to us. You misled us. That's it. On social media, I got into a couple of arguments over the last few months about Trump and trying to defend him and his policies. And I would hear back from a couple of people that I know, particularly health officials, who said, yeah, but the drug prices, you know, if he's going to do tariffs and all this, that doesn't address our biggest issue, which are the drug prices. So now I go back and I'm like, hey, the drug prices, look what he just did. He cut these things. And the answer back is, well, they can't do anything about it. It's an executive order. What Trump basically did is he's called BS on the entire Senate and House, all the people that have their pockets lined by the drug lobbyists. And he put out an executive offer, so they now have to talk about it, and they now have to address it. This whole thing with drugs has always bothered me. Besides the fact that we do pay ridiculous amount. What do you say, 10, ridiculous. 20 times? Mm-hmm.
Ridiculous.
20 times, yeah. But we always hear, well, it's the research. And I look at 7 years. You know, it takes 7 years of R&D and proof of research to get a patent. That is ridiculous. One of the things that they can easily do to level the playing field, in addition to what Trump is doing, because you know all these biotech companies out there, and they all go public too, because they have this great breakthrough. They should just cut the 7 years to 4. Now you'd have huge competition with every drug company. All these small mom and pops can compete now. Right. You can't compete 7 years.
No.
You need $1 billion to go do that.
It stretches too long.
So these are the arguments I'm getting in, and I think Trump really, once again, nailed it with the executive order with the drugs.
He did.
All right, 13 past the hour, live from Studio 6B. More news and sports all coming up right after this.
He got hurt. Oh, I thought he was out.
He went into the locker room.
Yeah, a little while ago.
Last I saw.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he was playing earlier. Oh yeah. Yeah, no, he got hurt about 10 minutes ago. Oof! Whoa! Look at that.
One knee in the.
That's a flagrant.
That's basketball.
Look at this. This is a tough game here. Cleveland's playing for their lives. Okay. Chat. What's going on in the chat? Well,
Oh, yeah. See, people are responding to that Biden rant because even though we knew he was corrupt, even though we knew he was weak, even we knew all this stuff, he still had the highest office in the land. He could have been a man. He could have been truthful to some extent, and he wasn't.
I like Chris Allen's comment on YouTube. Stop the damn drug commercials every 30 seconds. I agree with that. I'm so sick of those damn commercials. All of them. Ozempic, Pfizer. Oh, God
Trump's
almighty.
Ozempic rant was
You mean the fat shot?
priceless.
The fat shot. It's not working.
Priceless. It's not working.
All right, Dame, I went real quick.
Oh, that was too
Recent pro athletes with torn Achilles.
Okay.
Tatum.
Yep.
Dame Lillard. Tiger
Yep.
Woods. Deshaun
Yep.
Watson. Aaron
Okay.
Rodgers.
Yep.
Kevin Durant.
Yep.
Klay Thompson.
Yep.
Samson Etkun. He's a Colts player from last year.
Yep.
Okay.
He took
Ravens.
Yep.
Ardavius Washington.
jab.
That's 9.
That's 9. That's in the
And
last few
what
years.
time?
Did they
What
get
time
Aaron
was
Rodgers?
that?
That wasn't on the list.
Did they
Okay,
get
so
the jab?
It's
10.
just amazing how many.
And that spans how many years, though? 7 years? Because Kevin Durant was at least 6-7 years ago.
Donny Osmond.
I don't think that's that many
I think it's
for what they do.
Well, there's more that that I'm not seeing like big name players, but pro players.
That's scary,
It's scary how many
For all that
people
money,
are suffering.
Tatum's making 34.5 a year.
Makes me wonder if
Oh, well, they took a jab, maybe.
no, what it is. Like, I know bodybuilders torn tendons all the time.
Yeah. Maybe it
Tendons
makes them
can't-
more brittle.
They can't adjust to the extra strength
From the calf or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
pops.
The calves are so juiced in the legs. Maybe that's it.
I don't know. It's weird.
You have a theory?
He just said it.
I said you have a theory.
It's good to
I'm
have a
just saying
theory.
it got my attention.
All right, sound like the blues on a Tuesday night. Let me talk to you about our friends over at Patriot Mobile. Think about it. Every dollar you spend is either supporting your values or working against them in today's economy where you spend your money matters. That's how you take your country back. Well, Patriot Mobile is leading the way as America's only Christian conservative wireless provider. Switch today without sacrificing quality or service. You'll get exceptional nationwide coverage because unlike most budget wireless providers, Patriot Mobile has access to all 3 major U.S. networks. You can even add 2 numbers on 2 networks on one phone. That's cool. 2 numbers, 2 different networks, 1 phone. Something the big guys can't even do. Stay connected with flexible, unlimited data plans to fit your lifestyle. These plans offer high-speed data, mobile hotspots, international roaming, device protection, and even internet backup. Here's the best part. When you switch to Patriot Mobile, you're supporting faith, family, and freedom. If you believe in our First and Second Amendment rights, the sanctity of life, in supporting our veterans, well, then this is where you belong. Switching is simple. Keep your number, keep your phone, or you can upgrade. Patriot Mobile's 100% U.S.-based customer service team will get you activated in minutes. So right now, go to patriotmobile.com/RAV right there on your screen, patriotmobile.com/RAV, R-A-V, or call 972-PATRIOT, 972-PATRIOT. You can use promo code RAV at checkout. Make the switch. Defend freedom with every call and text that you make. That's patriotmobile.com/RAV or call 972-PATRIOT. All right, 18 past the hour, live from Studio 6B. Let's do some news. And here with the news is Rick Delgado. News is brought to you by EternalLifeCoin.com. EternalLifeCoin, all one word.com. Check it out. It's a great gift for birthdays and obviously Easter and anything else. Great memento to give somebody who's a believer or somebody who's religious or just looking for something like that. EternalLifeCoin.com. What's going on, Rick Delgado?
All right. Well, Vinny alluded to it earlier, so why don't we just jump to it as Jake Tapper is now out there piddling or peddling or whatever you want to call it. A book.
Blabbering.
Slobbering.
Yes. Slobbering.
Embarrassing himself.
Yes, all of the above. I'll take all of the above. It's called Original Sin by Jake Tapper and Alex Thompson. It's their chronicles of a different fall from grace, Damon, it says here in the book review. The cover image of black and white portrait of Joe Biden, of course, with his hands clamped together. And, of course, Jake is out there doing the pitch and talking about how he was deceived just like everybody else. Here he is. Let's see, which one should we go with? Here it is. Cut number 3. Let's go with this one first. Here's Jake talking about the Biden book and what he went through and the White House actually lying to he couldn't
Get the
believe
bomb
it.
ready.
He couldn't believe it. Cut number
Lion
3.
snake.
Check this out.
The bottom line is the White House was lying, not only to the press, not only to the public, but they were lying to members of their own cabinet. They were lying to White House staffers. They were lying to Democratic members of Congress, to donors about how bad things had gotten. And in fact, Alex and I started writing this book after the election of 2024, and we spoke with more than 200 people, almost all of whom were Democrats, and almost all of whom wouldn't be honest with us or wouldn't be candid with us until after the election. And then after the election, we found out all of these things that when you looked at what was going on with President
Aaron,
Biden.
Give me a break. Get out of here, you lying, phony weasel.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
No accountability from that guy.
Hey, Jake, did your eyes work for the last 4 years? I mean, stop.
And I love how he couches it like after the election. It only happened after they only would talk to us after the election.
The White House lied to us. Oh, what were you, comatose for 4 years? You only had an earpiece in. You had no vision. You had no sight. You didn't watch the guy. You didn't see the guy. What are you talking about?
He went after Lara Trump. You remember that clip?
He went after everybody.
He went after Lara Trump and like how insulting it was for her even bringing this stuff up.
Let's go to that clip right
All
now.
right,
Cut
there
number
we go.
4. Here's Jake getting mad because people are questioning Joe Biden's fitness. This is cut number 4. Check it out.
How do you think it makes little kids with stutters feel when they see you make a comment like that?
It's very clearly a cognitive decline.
Okay.
That's what I'm referring to. It makes me uncomfortable.
You have
to
no
watch somebody on stage
I can't.
search
This is
for
so amazing.
questions
It's so amazing to me that
and try and figure out an answer.
a cognitive decline.
President Biden embraces his stutter, talking about it, while Trump mocks it, exaggerates it, belittles it. He's sharp physically. I mean, mentally. Yeah. I think the question is physically, right?
Right.
More so?
Right.
Right. And the guy who's his chief opponent is only 3 or 4 years younger than him.
Exactly.
I mean,
Right. So there's Jake, of course, doing the dance, carrying the Biden administration water. Of course, because how could you say so? You're not a doctor? How could you make that diagnosis? That was their big hullabaloo, right?
Yeah,
they made a
exactly.
big deal out of it. Here's cut number 10 here, and here's more of Jake now peddling his book, looking right into the camera, saying this is what we went through. Here's cut 10. Check it out for yourself, and then feel free to blow it up at your leisure. There, Aaron.
Jake Tapper here. Alex
Aaron.
Thompson from Axios and I wrote a book. It's coming out next Tuesday.
Thank you, Jake.
Sorry. Not happening.
Yeah, the other minute was just more of his nonsense spewing about how, he did such a, it was such a tough job he did over the last few years that they didn't see it, that the White House lied to them. They
What
lied
a
to everybody.
joke. You got to be a special kind of slime ball to try to profit off of your own lying. You're more culpable than Biden had just no idea. I mean, we're all going to get there someday.
Right.
Yeah.
The people around him, his wife, his family, all the people in the White House, all these crooks who knew exactly what was going on. For Jake Tapper to sit there like we know he's a low IQ moron, leftist, propagandist online, but to act like you couldn't see any of, the White House lied. The only way he would have known is that the White House had told him,
right?
Hey, by the way, this guy's really lost it. Like, we couldn't tell, shaking hands with people who aren't there, walking off the stage the wrong way, making up stuff, or reading things off the teleprompter. I mean, what was the giveaway, Jake?
Yeah. Also, journalism.
That the guy was gone.
Right.
How about a journalist asking questions and knowing the White House is going to lie to them? They know this. This is what journalists do, right?
Not only that, we had 4 years of crazy towns. 4 years,
yeah, just
Jake.
watch the show, you moron.
4 years, Jake. You could have tuned in one night and gotten all you need to know.
That's it.
To ask the proper
Elgato
question.
had it solved early. Early, man.
Just amazing. So yeah, he's got the book out titled "Original Sin: President Biden's Decline." It's cover up that he was a part of, and his disastrous choice to run again, which is coming out in just about what is today, the 13th. So about a week away.
And they have a piece in the New Yorker today, too, this guy.
Let's have him on and promote the book. We'll ask him a few questions.
Oh, that book should be a million seller. He should have 1 million copies in his cellar. That's
Jake,
what he should have.
Jake, we have a few questions for you.
We should try and get him on. We'll ask him. So how stupid have you been the last 4 years to not notice this old man decaying in front of your eyes, Jake?
I mean, the idea that he could only have known, or he could have been straight with all of us, only if the White House had told him and not lied to us. You needed someone to tell you this guy was lost? What, are you kidding me? Give me a break. I mean, that is just...
It once again puts a nail in the coffin.
Makes me want to take a shower, this guy.
How freaking biased and in the bag the media is with these guys. Because they didn't even question him. Oh, okay. He's okay? Okay. Yeah. Good.
Right. I mean, even we heard about Joe running around the White House upstairs naked because he would he would get a little crazy and he'd get overheated and then he'd have to take off all his clothes and the Secret Service would find him wandering around naked.
He was part of the cover-up. That's literally. Diane Gardner just sent that message to me. He's part of the cover-up.
He wasn't covering up.
Yeah, it wasn't.
Anyhow, he writes in the book, what the world saw at Joe Biden's one and only debate was not an anomaly. It was not a cold. It was not someone who was under or over-prepared.
Thank you.
It was not someone who was a little tired. It was a natural result of an 81-year-old man whose faculties had been diminishing for years, but you didn't notice it, Jake.
You remember when
I would hate to have a seizure in front of Jake Tapper because he wouldn't know what to do. He'd probably think I'm having a party or playing Twister on the floor.
That's when he brought Putin out. Or was supposed to bring Zelensky out and said it was Putin.
Here's how vicious these people are. The report in the New Yorker today says that there was internal discussions about the fact that this guy could barely walk anymore, that they thought they were going to put him in a wheelchair, but they were going to wait till after the election to tell you, the American people, that he needed to be there.
Right.
Yeah.
That's how low rent these people all are.
We see it every day, man. Every day.
There is no bottom for them. No bottom. 26 past the hour, live from Studio 6B. More to do after this.
Okay.
Like, guys, they keep running the same play over and over.
Draw that play up again, Bob. It's turned into a heck of a game.
Yeah. Wow. Just blocked.
See what's going on. Yes. Gerald says he remembers when 6B started at 3 p.m. This is Gerald Wayne Hawkins saying he loves the new format. Great show. Damon, Vin, good to see you guys.
Did you say 3 p.m.?
What were we on? Didn't we have an afternoon?
3 to 5?
Didn't we do it 3 to 5 for a little while?
I don't remember that.
That must have been with the other guy. Yeah.
There was no other guy, but
no, but we were 10 o'clock.
10 to 12, I remember.
10 to 12, but
3 to 5, I don't remember at all.
According to this, check this out.
Check that.
Is it Jake Tapper's book? It looks like Jake Tapper's book. Yeah. Biden didn't recognize who George Clooney was.
Yeah. At the event that they all told us those videos were fake.
Right.
Nicole Wallace told us.
The cheap fakes.
Yeah, cheap fakes.
No,
he didn't even recognize George Clooney.
Obama didn't hold his hand to get him off stage. No, we saw him hold his hand.
He
didn't.
Yeah.
Damon, I believe you were on at 3 when you were a Bonko TV exclusive before we did the 10 a.m. show on Tough TV.
Really?
Thank you,
so that was just me and Vin on the stage over there?
Just the two of you.
Yeah, the
3
two
to
of us.
5, huh?
Yep.
Okay.
2 hours, just the two of us.
Yeah.
It's pretty heavy, man.
Oh, man, we did it with a breeze. Are you kidding me?
We did.
Yeah.
Flew right through it.
I could do 2 hours by myself. Most nights I think I wish I was doing that.
Well, there we go. Light up the social media there. That just throws bombs. There we go. Hang on.
Oh, God. Okay. You know what I love about that?
Yep.
Not our problem.
Oh, this game's over.
They're all crooked. The left, it's just
RD Bull says Damon sat there and Vinny carried the show. Well, yes, duh, of course. Yes. All right, 30 minutes past the hour, live from Studio 6B on a Tuesday night. Slick Rick's doing sports. Rick Delgado's doing the news. Vinny Mac's got some thoughts on some things as well. Aaron and Fran holding it down. What were we doing last segment? News? Did you do any news?
Jake Tapper.
Oh, yeah, Jake Tapper.
I got the one
it's a
story,
special
yeah.
place in. I mean, I'm sorry. That just, I mean, it's just so low rent. The excuse of, everybody else just wasn't like you were comatose. Like you could only figure this out if they told you or if people were honest with you, or you couldn't just tell by watching them. Like, hello, turn the TV on. You're on TV, guy. That's what you do for a living. You talk to the camera.
Not only that.
You're only on a couple hours a day. The rest of the time, did you ever watch it?
Not only that, but he's definitely not being truthful. If he's going to sit there and say, nobody came to me and told me anything, they have these discussions all the time. I'm sure while he was enjoying some caviar and champagne at one of his parties that they were rubbing elbows with, they were saying, Joe can't even wipe himself these days. They got this guy doing it.
I mean,
I'm sure they know about all this stuff.
Of course they. Anybody that buys that book needs to have their head examined. That should sell exactly 0 copies.
And the fact,
0.
And the fact that, according to this, Joe Biden didn't even recognize George Clooney, who greeted the president when he arrived after his 3-day Italy trip for the big showdown that they did.
Wait, Nicole Wallace told us that was deep fakes.
Yeah.
I think Dummy in the press briefing room told us that too. These Republicans and the cheap fake videos. Didn't Jean-Pierre? Didn't she tell us the same thing?
Pardon me.
They were cheap fakes.
Yeah.
Which means nobody put any money into them. What you saw was actually true. That's how cheap it was. It didn't cost them anything because they didn't have to do any work on it.
Because they were real.
I mean, give me a break, Jake Tapper trying to sell a book, acting like he's the victim of misinformation and non-information from everybody around him.
Right.
Oh, it was just, I can't believe this guy really was a freaking idiot. Oh, thanks, Jake. Give me a break.
And all the people that are speaking out now, these sources that are coming out, it would have been nice if they came out during the presidency, because maybe we could have done something about it. There might have been a little more pressure to get this thing resolved and fixed. But no, they didn't do anything. And we've got these whistleblowers all over the place, right? In the past.
Yeah.
Oh, whistleblowers this, whistleblowers that. But none of them came out and said anything. I mean, everyone's dishonest. The entire left, like every step of the way, they only care about their power and their money. They don't care about their people, which are the citizens of this country.
And we could see it for ourselves every day.
Every day we see it.
Every single day.
With a guy like Trump in office, by the way.
Right.
He puts a shining light on that every single day because they can't handle it.
Right. Yeah, and you know what? You know what's interesting, too, about the Trump difference with Biden? Not only the walking up the stairs. I saw somebody put a side-by-side of them both walking up the stairs of Air Force One, which I got a good kick out of. But I think what Trump does, and this is another reason why they probably hate him so much, is that he points out, just by being him and doing what he does, how little all of the other people in government do. How they don't really do anything. They don't. They don't do anything. They don't deliver anything. There's nothing that you can point at and be like, man, we could not have gotten that done without that guy. Zero. They really, even presidents really have, like Biden didn't do anything, right? But what did Obama do, really? Did he really do anything?
No.
anything of positive note that makes you go, man, we are so glad he was in office at that
He
time.
can just speak well.
Killed the economy.
Right?
That's basically all his skill set
really,
was.
Yeah,
Killed
there was
it.
really nothing that these politicians actually do, and that's probably why they all hate him so much, because they're like, oh, this guy actually works. Oh, he's going to make us work. We don't want to work, because they never had to work before.
I believe that.
They've never had to actually be responsible for something and be held to account for it. So I think that's another great, position. When you look at Trump versus any other politician out there, they don't really do anything.
Well, Trump takes the position as an accountable CEO would take a position in running anything. These politicians, what are the Bidens or Obamas ever really had behind them that was going to like cause their lives to change? Really nothing. Nothing. Just maintain the power, keep telling the story, and you'll be taken care of. You'll be getting this, you'll be getting that. And,
I mean, what's a bigger without cursing, I'm not even sure how to say it.
I know.
To think that these people knew he was basically a mental patient, should belong in a home, in a wheelchair, and had internal discussions about the fact that he could barely walk anymore. Mm-hmm. And what was the shortest distance to get him from one place to another with the least amount of steps, and the fact that he needs to be in a wheelchair, but we're going to wait till after the election to put him there if he wins.
Right. What
more could you point to show how important it is? They don't care about you. They don't care about the people. They don't care. They don't even care about him, the people. No. They didn't even care about him.
No.
Clearly.
They just cared about keeping the power. Get the old man through. Hopefully he doesn't have a stroke and die. And then we'll put him in a wheelchair and we'll figure it out from there. Country will be in total disarray, but who cares? We'll figure it out, but we'll have kept power. We can control it. Then we can put our people in. We'll dump him at the dog track and put in whoever's next. That's all they cared about. They did not care about him, his state of mind, what it was going to do. I don't know what else you can point to see how, I don't even know the word for these people. Subhuman.
You nailed it right there. You nailed it right there. They don't care about anything.
Crazy.
But their power.
Crazy. That is crazy stuff.
Hey, look what they're doing to this David Hogg, who I'm no fan of. Can't stand this guy. But they're eating their own.
Which I love. What does they decide? He's not black enough, right? Or lesbian enough or something?
He's
That's what they decided today?
He's not woke enough, I guess. Whatever you may think of him, they elected him to do this thing, right? If you don't like him, you like him, whatever. I can't stand this kid. However, this is what the Democrats do. They're just going to eat their young till they put someone else in.
Well, he's been going after them, so they took him out. Simple as that.
Big mistake.
Nice try, kid. Come back when you actually have something to offer people in that party that can fill up their wallets, because whatever he was doing, he was trying to upset the apple cart, and they don't want their power upset.
Carville and Rahm Emanuel, Dead Fish Emanuel, probably called somebody and said, okay, enough of this experiment.
Yeah. Move out. Tried to have a youth movement there, and it didn't quite pan out.
What was the official? I think I actually tweeted it. I found it so laughable. What's the actual thing they said? I wasn't far off. He's not something enough. What did they actually say? David Hogg.
He's not Hogg enough?
DNC panel has voted to oust David Hogg and nullify his victory because he violated gender diversity rules.
Oh,
Come on.
Oh my God.
Come on.
Did he really?
That's what that's the excuse they're using. Yeah, like I said, he's wasn't a black lesbian enough for them.
I don't really care about that guy.
The whole DEI thing. I was reading something today about the Civil Rights Act, 1964. The Civil Rights Act. Think about this, 1964. And it protects all of us from discrimination, age, sex, and race. Period. 1964.
Great year.
And a good year. Were you born that year?
Yes, sir.
All right. Yeah, good. Happy to hear that. And DEI openly violates that because it's all about hiring based on sex, race. Now, I don't know about age, but sex and race for sure. And you just think about the impact of the Democrats. Drove this through this entire Civil Rights Act with the help of so many others, John F. Kennedy, others, right, that were involved in this. And it was an amazing breakthrough in this country. And then I just was reading it, just happened to come across it and read all about, the Civil Rights Act. And I was just curious. I'm like, what does that say? And then you hear about DEI and you're like, wow, a complete slap in the face of that entire act. Martin Luther King, all the things that all these great people did to get that in place, and shattered because they had a talking point. That's all that was, DEI. The talking point to secure votes from minorities, I guess. I don't know who the hell they were appealing to. Trans? Who were they appealing to?
They were trying to appeal to every little subgroup.
Every little subgroup
and
through
pitting them against each other. So, basically, if you're a white male, you're on the short end of everything. Basically, the enemy of all those groups was a white male, so that's how they kind of coalesced them to actually stand together. So now you have 87 colors in their stupid gay pride flag, which should only be about 3 or 4.
So they do that and defy the Civil Rights Act. And they're doing it right now with these South African refugees coming into the country. And I've read a lot about this because I could not believe these stories about the reverse going on here, but big time reverse. They're going in just the blacks in the country now are going in and taking land and I don't know if they're hurting people physically or not, but there's a lot going on.
People have been hurt. Some have been killed. Sure.
So there's major stuff going on. Not that there's, anger and retribution to possibly how they were treated in the past. No one's excusing that, but these people need to get out of there if they want to survive, and we're letting them in there. And this has become, once again, another radical racial story and how Trump can possibly do this. And it's just another series of just manipulation by the left here, like DEI and so many other things.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing.
All right, anything else in the news right now, Delgado?
I don't know if you caught this, Damon, but inflation is down.
2.3, I think it came in this morning, right? CPI reading 2.3.
And it's amazing the pains that CNN actually had to report on this. Here, check this out. Cut number 6, as CNN is forced to report another positive for the Trump administration.
Squeezing it out.
Cut 6.
Wallet. U.S. inflation slowing, I should say, to its lowest rate in more than 4 years. That, according to April's Consumer Price Index report. It's an unexpected and very welcome development that's defying economists' expectations amid President Trump's ongoing trade war. Let's go live right now to CNN business and politics correspondent Vanessa Yurkevich, who's watching all of this in New York. Vanessa, walk us through this morning's report. Where do things stand?
Encouraging signs, Wolf. Inflation continuing to move in the right direction, cooling on an annual basis to 2.3%.
Yeah. And Wolf Blitzer.
You think Blitzer is what's Blitzer doing to never ever look a day older than he's looked for the last 70 years? What's he doing? I want to do it. I need to talk to him.
I think he's taking balance of nature. Yeah.
Is that what he's doing?
He's taking balance of nature.
He hasn't changed. You're right about that. He's looked old from day one. That's it.
No, but I mean, he never changes.
Yeah, he's actually just 42. He's looked like that since he was born.
He does look the same. That's an ironic point.
Come on.
Yeah, I don't know.
Man.
But on this inflation thing, all these experts, the leaders of our banks, Goldman Sachs and all, everybody panicking.
Yeah.
All these experts. And I think the 4 of us sitting back here watching Trump use tariffs to negotiate, knowing that's what he's doing, yet the presidents of these banks and all these economists are panicking that we're going to go into a recession, all this crazy stuff's going to happen. Boom. Inflation at 2.3%.
All right, live from Studio 6B. We'll wrap it up for a Tuesday night. A little more sports, a little more news. We'll do it when we get back right after this.
Yes. I'll tell you, Indiana's been playing good as of late, though.
They got it.
Yeah, that's. And Knicks will grind it out. Big D, Super Chat, YouTube. Alice Nielsen, DKK, $100. What a great day. Great weeknight with you all. As always, thank you. Take care. Stay strong. A couple of less digits is Drag Blacker for $10. South Africa has been the model of DEI since the end of apartheid. Vinny must look into the murder spree of white farmers by blacks and how some in the Western Cape are advocating for secession.
Yeah, I totally get that, and I've heard
guy.
similar. I just didn't have all the facts on the
Drag
top of my
Blacker
head
is
there.
a sharp guy.
Yeah. Roxanne Laney says that maybe they kept Biden in and covered it up because Carmelo would have done more damage, which is possible. Like, they could have easily had him step down and had the vice president step in, right? But they didn't do that. Yeah, well, they didn't do it, and maybe that's the reason that she's even more of an idiot than he was, which we saw on a wonderful campaign that she ran.
Going to try the guest again?
Yeah, good point. Man, they are just a mess. They can't be in charge of anything. I mean, frankly, we have to learn our lesson here. We have to win the midterms. We have to continue to win.
We have to win, baby, win.
We do. We have to continue to win and get votes out and not let them cheat.
And we need 20 more years of winning so we can actually retire.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
In Botswana.
Boom, 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 boom.
So we got folks coming in on Friday night from Nashville, huh, Big D?
Oh, that's what I hear.
Yeah, that's something.
Nashville and Arizona.
Man, that's great. Yeah.
All right, last 6 games, Knicks Pacers 3-3.
Oh, that's pretty tight.
I don't like the matchup.
Pretty tight.
You might be right.
Though they did win the most recent game, 128-115.
Reggie Miller's
Indiana plays zero defense.
Reggie Miller's jersey still hanging up in the garden. That ghost. Better hope he's not doing the game.
Jalen.
Until the hour, live from Studio 6B. Glad you're in on a Tuesday night. Real America's Voice all across the country. Vinny Mac's here. He's doing, I don't know, he's just talking about everything.
Commentary.
Delgado's here. He's doing the same thing. Sports with Slickster, we're going to do right now.
Okay,
Big update in the Eastern Conference Finals.
Yes.
We have our first team that is sitting there and waiting for the winner of the Knicks and Celtics series. So we'll get to that. Aaron and Fran holding it down as always. And let's start with sports. Slickster, give us the update.
All right, Big D. Well, it's all over in Cleveland. The Pacers are moving on to the East Conference Finals, Big D. They have taken on the Cavs and knocked them out 114-105, and it's all over. They win that series 4-1. First team to move on, so we'll keep it out. Well, you think the Knicks are going to play them, or what do you think?
Well, I think the Knicks have got to win one of the next 3, yeah.
Yeah, especially with Tatum.
Without Tatum, if you can't, I mean, just disintegrate the franchise.
Yep, and little delay in Oklahoma City. 9:30 p.m. was supposed to be the tip-off there with the Nuggets, but I assume they waited till the Cavaliers game was over, and now they'll be getting it on, and that's a Game 5, another pivotal linchpin game series tied at 2. To the ice we go. Good one, American Airlines Arena, downtown Dallas. The Stars leading the Jets 2-1 at the end of 2. Stars are looking to take a commanding 3-1 lead as they lead the series now 2-1 over the Winnipeg Jets, who really were the favorites there to get to the finals. So we'll see what happens there. West second round. Boom. And we should do a couple of baseball scores because we haven't got any baseball tonight. We're going to go with the White Sox blanking the Reds, 1-0, end of 5. Reds, you got to win the game at home tonight for Pete with the announcement today. Good Lord. Red Sox and Tigers tied at 6, top of the 10th. Good one there. Top 9, we got the Rays over the Blue Jays, 11-7. Cubs trail the Marlins, 4-2 at Wrigley, bottom 7. Top 7, Rangers over the Rockies, 3-1. Royals and Astros knotted at 1, top 7. Mid-first, Angels blanking the Padres, 1-0 there. Yankees and Mariners, no score, just underway mid-first there. Yankees nothing across the top there. Diamondbacks and Giants, no score there, just underway as well. Finals from earlier today, the Guardians 2-0 over the Brewers. At least they got some good news in Cleveland today. Mets 2-1 over the Pirates. Mets continue to play well. Braves 5-2 over the Nationals. And we got the A's taking on the Dodgers out in L.A. 10-10 first pitch. And I'll tell you, this woman, she just doesn't go away, this Bill Belichick story. Jordan Hudson doesn't have anything to do with UNC football, Bill Belichick says. Belichick is gearing up for the start of the season. Ryan Gatos of Fox News reporting. North Carolina Tar Heels head coach Bill Belichick made clear on Tuesday that Jordan Hudson doesn't have anything to do with the football program. I guess she didn't win Miss Maine, so she's out the door now. It was Belichick's first remark since the CBS interview debacle, which featured Hudson interrupting a question about their relationship and dueling statements about how the interview went down. So he appeared on ESPN SportsCenter as the ACC Springs meetings got underway and was asked by Christine Williamson how the off-field drama has impacted his ability to coach the team. That's really off to the side. That's a personal relationship, and she doesn't have anything to do with UNC football, Bill Belichick said. I'm excited to be back in the coaches' meetings and getting ready for June and August when we get to training camp. June will be a big recruiting month for us, and then August, we start getting ready for the season. Hudson may not have an official role with the program, but email correspondence within the athletics department appeared to show she was a part of his media team in some capacity. But we're just not sure what capacity that might be, Big D. And let's hope his season doesn't end up incapacitated. But this could really be an issue. I tell you, it's going to be a side story. As soon as they lose a game, they'll be panning to her on the sideline. And I don't think this relationship is going to last. I really don't. I think somebody's going to step up, like one of his financial advisors.
Might be offensive coordinator.
Yeah, that's it. Well, she could always,
Bill Belichick's always been a shy guy, though.
Yeah, he's
talk about a guy who wouldn't want to talk to the media, was grumpy all the time,
and always in control.
He's headlines every day.
Exactly.
Personal life really quiet.
Yeah.
Never knew what was going on about. Now we know. Now we're getting something every day.
Yeah,
I'm kind of sick of it.
And I just could care less. Could care less.
Yeah, and probably most of the people could care less too. But I just wanted to get that story in. And that's a wrap in sports, Big D. I'm throwing it back to you.
All right, Slick. Sports brought to you by Mike Lindell. 9 minutes to the hour. Let's do a little more news. Vinnie Mac, anything else on your mind?
Oh, man, the big breaking news when we got here, about an hour before we got in here, the grand jury indicted that Wisconsin judge who let the illegal through the back door. The great part of this is the Democrats keep breaking the law. You know, that whole thing that happened in Newark?
Yep.
And then the big to-do about, well, if they get arrested, I know that's a red line we're not going to cross. They broke the law, okay? Whatever happens there, if they legitimately broke the law and they assaulted these officers or whatever happened there, then they should be. They shouldn't be immune to that. This judge indicted by grand jury, like hello. And then there's another incident. There's looking for this guy, the Denver mayor, Mike Johnston. He's directed his staff to move over to a messaging service that auto deletes all the messages so that Trump administration can't recover their conversations. First off, they're not allowed to do that. There's a whole thing about preserving your records that's required for government workers, officials, and so on. So why is he doing that? Because they have a lot to hide. They're going to hide and protect illegal criminals. What are they afraid of? ICE? They're afraid ICE is going to come in and bring some arrest illegal criminals and get them out of your city to save lives. But the fact that this Denver mayor will go this far, just like the Wisconsin judge, they should just be arrested. And we're seeing Pam Bondi, walk the walk here a bit. I have to say, I'm impressed with these types of things happening. You know what you don't hear anything about? Teslas.
No.
What happened to that? By the way, the Tesla stock closed at, I think, $333 or $335. It's climbing back up. The damage they did to this guy's business, though, hasn't caught up to that yet, because it will, because they did a lot of damage. But you don't hear it. And why don't you hear about this going on anymore? Because they're arrested people. They held them accountable.
Yep.
This is very simple. It's mostly black and white. You break the law, you get arrested. You don't allow one type of rioter to riot and burn down buildings and cities, and then another type of riot, which, by the way, I'm alluding to January 6th, which more and more information is coming out, looks like a completely staged program by Nancy Pelosi and her team. Not just didn't call in the police and the proper support. Now there's a lot of smoke in this fire right now. I can't wait till all that stuff comes out. But I'm just quite impressed with where Pam Bondi's going with the legal system. They're indicting people. They're arresting people. I think we all might have thought, would this Wisconsin judge, would she go down? Yeah. Would she not?
Hopefully.
And here we go. Well, an indictment from a grand jury, that's a big deal.
That's a federal grand jury, or it was local in Wisconsin? I'm just wondering what Pam Bondi had to do with it. Was it a federal grand jury?
It says Milwaukee judge, blah, 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 indicted by a federal grand jury earlier today.
Oh, okay.
So there you have it. Federal.
So there you go.
Right on.
So there's one last piece that Trump is doing. He's the greatest president, man. This is not enough words to express how good this guy is. All this money spent on housing for illegal aliens that the federal government was paying, he's reallocated that for a National Center for Homeless for veterans. That's where our money should go, for our own people, our veterans. We're housing all these illegals, throwing all kinds of money, and here are our veterans, and he's taking care of them. So, once again, well done, Donald.
All right, very good, Vinnie Mac. Doug, not a lot of time. Anything else you haven't touched on?
A couple things, but I guess one thing that's breaking right now, if you're a big fan of the Menendez brothers, and I'm not talking about the senator and his son out of New Jersey, I'm talking about the two dirtbags that killed their parents, Eric and Lyle.
Yeah.
They're going to be eligible to leave prison after serving more than 30 years behind bars.
Wow.
The judge reduced their sentences of the killer's siblings from life without parole to 50 years with life with the possibility of parole. So now it's up to your one and only sleazy Gavin Newsom to make a decision on if they're going to be freed. So there you have it.
Wow.
All right, as always, we salute our military, active and active, police, firefighters, first responders, all emergency personnel. Thanks, guys, on the show. Aaron, Fran, great job as always. Most of all, thank you to live from Studio 6B audience. We'll see you tomorrow night, 8 p.m. right here live from Studio 6B.